The full slate of age group divisions came into play in around 2017. That's when we added the 35 to 39-year-olds. 2015, we added the teen division. It's 6 years since that's happened. I contend we are no further along in promoting those athletes than we were then. Let's riff. Welcome back to Scott Riffs. Where has CrossFit missed the mark? And I want you to listen closely because she does something very tricky here that really pissed me off. You are not presenting accurate facts. You are manipulating what you're presenting to suck people into your narrative. CrossFit takes note or gets out of the way. One or the other, because this train's moving forward because of people like you. I'm too much of an alpha at times to want to conform too much. And I would rather be all of me. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Scott Riffs. We are going to get after it tonight with why are the age group divisions always screwed? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start today with the age-old story. This actually happened to me at the Masters Fitness Collective. I was having a conversation with Brian Friend, Ron Ortiz, a couple of those guys. And what we were talking about is that the Masters athletes get very little coverage. It is very few people that show up at a Masters event to cover them. During the season, they get very little coverage all the way up through the games. And so I asked this question to Brian. I said, is it because we don't cover them that the attendance is lower than we think it should be, or that the clicks are lower than we think it should be? And when we do cover it, it's just every once in a while? Or is it because there really is no interest in those age groups? And Brian came back to me and said every time he writes a story about age groups, they get less clicks, less views than other stories. And I said, well, we really haven't done any concentrated coverage in the space for the age groups. Is that the reason that's happening? And it's the age-old adage of, is it the chicken or the egg that came first, right? Is it that we're not covering them so nobody knows who they are? So when we do throw some stuff out there, nobody really understands who they are or wants to tune into those things? Or is it because nobody really cares about anything but the elite athletes? So I think it's because we don't devote much time to covering the athletes. And when we do, it's very parsed out here and there. So people don't get to know who those athletes are, and there is no name recognition. What I will say is that I think that CrossFit is in a space right now to take advantage of some huge opportunities in the age group divisions. There are some big names that are aging up into that 35 to 39-year-old division. There is such a highlight on especially the teen girls division and all that it's bringing to the elite division, that it's actually getting some coverage now, and people are watching that, like Olivia Kerstetter, and because of Mal O'Brien, because of Haley Adams, because of Emma Carey. There's actually a build there that could be taken advantage of. So I think that now's the time that we should be taking advantage of this. And when CrossFit announced that the age group divisions would have their own time at the games, that like Tuesday through Thursday, with kind of the spotlight on them and their events, I thought, oh gosh, we're going in the right direction. They're finally getting it. They're finally going to give some coverage to these age groups and let them have the spotlight, and let's see if we can grow this this thing that is outside of the elite division, right? Then we take a step back because CrossFit says, okay, we're going to push all these people into their own little areas and let them have the spotlight. But then during the season, we're going to cut their quarterfinal short. We're going to give them one less workout to test themselves. We're still going to keep the entire qualification process online, which I think is a huge mistake. So let's walk through this step by step. And first is one, um, the quarterfinals going from 3 days and 5 workouts to 2 days and 4 workouts. The age groups, all of their qualification right now currently is online. To take away one more step away from them or one more test, I think is a huge mistake. It's already been a problem with a lot of the online competitions that people are manipulating the scores, manipulating what's happening to get themselves to the games. And there are less checks and balances through that process to get to the games. And it's very disheartening for those athletes trying to get to the CrossFit Games because we've already eliminated so many spots. Only the top 10 in all divisions get to go to the CrossFit Games, unlike the 40 in the elite division. Um, th- this online thing needs fixed. There are a couple ways that can be taken care of. One, we can ask that all athletes submit their video on YouTube and connect it to the leaderboard for all of their scores. That will eliminate some of the cheating, some of the manipulation of the scoreboard. Um, I talked to an unnamed source today who had um, who had information that in certain countries in South America, some of the athletes don't even do the workouts. They just put a score on the scoreboard to get themselves forward. And then if they're asked for a video, they then do the workout and record it really quick to send it up to HQ to show what they've done. This stuff has got to stop. We've got to figure out a way to legitimize the sport so that we can get better coverage, better athletes, and the people who deserve that game spot a chance to get into the games. Another way that we could fix that is we have a process in place already for the adaptive division where CrossFit has brought in experts in the adaptive division. Kevin Ogar helps with the programming of the adaptive divisions. I'm sure he helps with floor plans, things like that. Why not, if CrossFit doesn't want to devote all of their time to the age group divisions, contract that out? Take that off your plate and allow others who know that space, who know those athletes, who know the needs of those athletes, to take that on and run with it as part of the season. You have legends who did that in Cookeville this year, who ran a great competition. You have MFC, who in Fort Wayne every year puts on an age group competition. Then you have the Pit Fitness Teens up in Michigan, who run a teen competition every year and are experts in the teen division. And I've talked to the person who runs that, and they would love the opportunity to be involved and run the season for the teens all the way to the games and take that off the plate of CrossFit. I think that is an amazing way to kind of take advantage of this. And I've said this a couple times on the show, all the way back to my riff on CrossFit needs to look into what Loud and Live is doing, that there is a way to give the age groups their opportunity for an in-person semifinal by using the semifinals um, that are already involved. Right now we have semifinals in this country, in Pasadena and Orlando, both warm weather areas. You could run a small semifinal for all of the people out in the parking lot that have made it to that point. And I'm sure that other areas like in Europe and Australia and South America, they could do the same thing. Um, so Damien says so much money on finding athletes on the juice, but little to find athletes not even doing the tests. Great point. Um, so then you have a semifinal. Right now, only 30 people go from quarterfinals in each division to the semifinals in the world. You could do 10 people per region to get to go, or CrossFit could run their algorithm as to how it should be divvied up, just like they did with the regions for the elite athletes, and open up that many spots for each region to hold a little mini semifinal in the parking lot. And if you think that that can't be done, it was done at the Granite Games last year. They ran a full age group community event outside of the stadium where the semifinal was being held. So I'm not making this up. I'm taking something that's been done and worked at Granite Games, which brings more people to the arena to follow their family members in the community event, and sells more tickets to get more people in the seats to get them addicted to this sport that we love, CrossFit. And I don't think that is too heavy of a lift. Um, I will say our goal this season was to highlight more masters athletes, more teen athletes. We brought on Stephanie Price to do a whole teen channel, and her shows have been doing really well for us. They're getting as many views and clicks and all of that as our main shows. And so I think that there is an appetite for those things. And if we can continue to cover them, people will start to know who these people are, and people will then flock to see these people compete. Another thing that I wanted to bring up that I've talked to with some of the athletes is, because everything is online and not, there's only a couple competitions a year for them to do in person. Many of them have a hard time finding out where their holes are. They just know that, like, they've done a workout and they didn't finish as well as they thought they would, but they don't know the reason why, because they don't see what their competitors are doing. They don't know where they've lost in that competition to that person. Um, One athlete I talked to is, every in-person competition she does with wall balls, she finishes very, very well. Online, she did wall balls and finished very, very low. And she's confused as to why that would happen, because there is no video submission. She can't see why it was that she fell off. And of course, the natural inclination is that these people aren't doing the full movement range, or aren't doing the things that she's doing to make sure it is a good workout. So by that solves another problem, by making people submit every video for their workouts, and they have to post it online with their workout, a link in the leaderboard so that people can see the videos. It will cut down on cheating. It will cut down on, and it will give the athletes a chance to study where they're weak, to study where their holes are, and to figure out how to get better so they can perform better in the season going forward. Um, I think that solves a lot of the problems. In summation, we're following a couple athletes this season. A couple of them are masters athletes. We wanted to do, and I'm hoping that as we move forward, we can do more and more masters athletes as a part of this follow the season. We're trying out some new things this year. We're getting good feedback on following the couple masters athletes that we have. Our teen division is following 3 teen athletes. They are getting good feedback on what they are doing. So I think if we can continue this coverage, get people to know who the athletes are, we can grow this sport, just like golf grew the Champions League, where when golfers decided they didn't want to play every weekend on the PGA Tour, they could go to a Champions League and still make money, still compete at a high level with people their age. And that tour is very, very successful for the PGA, and it allows those athletes to still do all the things they love to do. And the coolest part is the fans get to see some of the legends of the sport that they maybe couldn't approach at a regular PGA event at the Champions League, to be able to meet them, get autographs, get pictures, all of that kind of stuff. And the same could be happen here in the Masters division. And as well as to see the future. A lot of leagues like the NBA have the G League, where it's a developmental league where athletes can go play the sport, get better, and people can come see them and know what the future is going to be like in the NBA. So that would be awesome. And we can do that with our teen division as well. And the more we kind of embrace that and lean into it, the better off the overall sport of CrossFit will be in the future. With that, it's been awesome to be on tonight. And there's not a lot of questions in the comments. So with that, I'll just let you sit on that. If you have anything, I'm glad I appeased you, Jeremy. Yeah. Golf and CrossFit. Well, it's a good similarity with the Champions League and the Masters division in CrossFit. Just trying to make some simulations that these are things that have been done in the past. And it's something that easily could be done in CrossFit to help out, help grow the sport in different ways by thinking outside the box. I think the big thing is contracting other people to take this on. CrossFit is too small right now at HQ to do this on their own. They need to contract this out with people who are passionate about those athletes and know those athletes and want to grow those two facets of the sport. With that, this has been awesome. I want you guys to know that in about 13 minutes, Kat's going to be live on the air with Julie Rappaport with our relationship show. And tonight is Deal Breakers. That sounds pretty juicy. So you might want to stick around and catch that. Tomorrow, we will be on the air live as soon as the CrossFit press conference is done tomorrow afternoon. It starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time. As soon as that is over, we will jump on live to talk about what we learned there and preview the quarterfinals that are going to be happening this weekend. And tomorrow night, I will be live with Olivia Sulik talking about why she took a step back from CrossFit, and her calling to disciple the Word of God and just take a step back from CrossFit and do that. With that, we will see everybody later. Thanks for joining us.